The Subaru Forester and the Mazda CX-5. We'll drive through and see how each crossover evolved in technology and style. We'll also see which model years are the best to buy used, which ones to avoid, and more. So hop in and let's go for a ride. In 1997, Subaru announced an Impreza-based crossover. It was named the Forester. It was larger, it was taller than the Impreza, featured a spacious interior, 7.5 inches of ground clearance, and came equipped with all-wheel drive. The Forester had all the capabilities of an SUV, but drove like a road car. The Forester was lower than a regular SUV, which meant there was less risk of rollover when cornering. Subaru marketed the Forester as SUV tough. The first generation came with a 2.5-liter H4 engine with dual overhead camshafts. Later, this double overhead cam engine was replaced by a single overhead camshaft engine. It was available with either a 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual transmissions. The standard all-wheel drive system used by the Forester used a 60-40 split to power the front wheels and rear wheels. The all-wheel drive system, however, dynamically adjusted the power split as needed. For example, when driving uphill, the all-wheel drive system transferred more power to the rear. And when the weight shifted forward, such as going downhill, the Forester added more power to the front end. This gave the Forester sporty handling and better on-road capability. It was also easier to load cargo into a Forester since it was lower in height compared to other crossovers of the time. A few years later, Subaru released the second-generation Forester. It too shared from the Impreza platform and came standard with all-wheel drive, with the same 2.4-liter H4 boxer engine. But there were noticeable improvements. For one, it was even larger than the previous generation, with increased cargo space, yet it weighed 100 pounds less. This was made possible due to an aluminum bonnet, perforated rails, and a hydroformed subframe. Later model years of this generation saw a turbo engine added. Then Subaru made the Forester even larger. The third-generation Forester was rounder and less boxy. It was 3 inches longer, 1.5 inches wider, and 4.3 inches taller. Its wheelbase also increased by another 3.5 inches, although, oddly enough, the interior and cargo space of the crossover didn't increase at all. On the contrary, it was decreased. Under the hood was a new 2.5L H4 boxer engine that output 170 horsepower. All-wheel drive remained standard, and drivers still had a choice between a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. Around this time, Mazda started designing a new compact crossover based on the Mazda Managi. The new vehicle was released as a CX-5, and it was the new competition in the growing crossover market. Mazda designed the CX-5 by focusing driver-passenger comfort and connection to the car or oneness with the car. Mazda engineers were inspired by the Japanese concept Jinba Itai, which means horse and rider as one, and the theme reflected in many aspects of the vehicle, from the responsiveness of the throttle to the driver-focused cockpits and to the flexible steering. The CX-5 was also the first Mazda vehicle to feature the full suite of Sky Active technology to provide fuel-efficient engines and transmissions, resulting in lower emissions and lower fuel consumption. The CX-5 shared the same platform as the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6. The original 2013 model was offered in 3 trim levels: Sport, Touring, and Grand Touring, each powered by a 155 horsepower 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 6-speed manual transmission with standard front-wheel drive. A 6-speed automatic transmission with an optional all-wheel drive system was also available. In 2014, Mazda introduced a new, more powerful engine. The Touring and Grand Touring were now standard with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with 184 horsepower. While this new engine was more powerful, it didn't impact the CX-5's renowned fuel economy. Further refinements led to the 2016 model year with revised suspension setup to optimize performance. Improved vehicle sound insulation for a quieter cabin was also added. The body of the car had also been redesigned to make it slightly smoother. Meanwhile, Subaru released the 4th-generation Forester with the 2014 model year. This new generation was 1.4 inches longer and 0.6 of an inch wider. The wheelbase also grew by 1 inch. Subaru also introduced their EyeSight driver assistance as an option for the Touring trim Forester. But the most significant update came with the addition of the continuously variable transmission, CVT. The Subaru CVT technology provided for advantages in linear acceleration and performance and less wear and tear on the transmission, while also offering improved fuel economy and lower emissions. And the 2.5 premium trim still came with a 6-speed manual transmission. Other models received the new CVT as standard. Not to be outdone, Mazda overhauled the CX-5 in 2017. This marked the beginning of the new generation CX-5. It sported a more aggressive and more modern appearance. This new generation featured 4 trim levels. The 2.5-liter engine output more horses than before. This engine now came with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Also, Mazda discontinued offering manual transmissions in the CX-5 that year. Mazda again revamped the CX-5 lineup in 2019. They added the Grand Touring Reserve and Signature as the top 2 trim levels. Not only did they offer more standard features than previous models, but these also came equipped with high-quality leather upholstery and wood trim, plus a 250 horsepower, 2.5 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine taken from larger CX-9 SUV. The 2020 model saw a major upgrade to the standard safety suite, including adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, forward collision warning, and pedestrian detection. Meanwhile, Subaru launched the Generation 5 Forester, and they increased the Forester size again for additional cargo and cabin space. The new Forester came equipped with only one engine, 2.5 H4 mated to a CVT with a standard all-wheel drive. And tech features like EyeSight, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto were now standard. The Forester had only one engine option because Subaru dropped the turbocharged Forester 2.0 XT model in 2019. The 2021 Forester is currently Subaru's #1 selling model and has even passed the popular Outback wagon. In fact, the Forester sales make up 30% of all Subaru sales now. Subaru also dropped the 6-speed manual transmission in the Forester in 2019. It's in line with what many car manufacturers have been doing since sales of manuals have been consistently dropping in recent decades. And this is a generation of the current Forester. It rides on the new Subaru global platform. Subaru has invested $1 billion to build the new platform. It offers a large 76.1 cubic feet of cargo space when the back seats are folded flat. Kelley Blue Book rates the new Forester as best in its class in terms of value. We're talking about affordability, good fuel mileage, and ability to retain its relative value with a 5-year depreciation of 51% according to IC Cars. What about safety? IHS gave the new Forester the highest top safety pick award. Subaru attributes its superior ranking in front crash prevention due to its proprietary EyeSight driver assist technology. As far as 2021 Mazda CX-5, the most notable upgrade is the infotainment system. Larger screen on the dash, it's more than 3 inches larger. New Mazda Connect interface. It's also possible to get 250 horsepower turbo engine outside of the top 2 trim levels. The cabin space is sufficient, although it's smaller than what competitors are offering. There's no such thing as a perfect car, and all cars have some issue, whether minor or major. So if you're looking at a used Mazda CX-5 or Subaru Forester, which models should you avoid and which are worth considering? You might want to be a bit cautious with the 2016 CX-5. That model year received high ratings in more major issues like engine and transmission and over-reliability, but it also received the most volume of customer complaints than any other model year. Most of the complaints had to do with lights, for example, blinkers going out prematurely, failing daylight running lamps, problems with windows and windshields, and low reliability of in-car electronics. So which models should you look at? 2017 and newer models have better crash test ratings in general compared to other models. Also, the 2017 was redesigned for improved overall ride, dampened cabin noise, and that year Mazda included the Mazda Connect infotainment system, so if tech features are a priority for you, that year can be a good one. The CX-5 in general has an average lifespan of 200,000 miles, and it also has a lower annual maintenance cost compared to the Forester. On average, the CX-5 can cost some $447 per year, which is $185 less than the Forester's average maintenance cost of $632 a year. When it comes to reliability, J.D. Power and NHTSA have estimated that no other compact SUV on the market can be more reliable than the Mazda CX-5. Besides having the highest quality ratings on the market, the CX-5 also offers more standard power and torque than the Forester, and better safety features and interior technology. Well, how about the Subaru Forester? The worst model to buy used is probably 2014. Many owners reported excessively high oil consumption, even as little as 26,000 miles. Fixing this can run you an average of $2,000. The 2014 and 2015 models reportedly had problems with the transmission, interior accessories, electrical issues, and faulty suspension. Those models also had the most reported complaints, so it's probably best to avoid those years if possible. If you're looking for a used Forester, then what is the most recommended years in the models between 2011 and 2013? Well, those are the best years. They were part of the 3rd generation when Subaru used the FB25B engine in the Forester. In general, a Forester's lifespan ranges between 200,000 to 250,000 miles, or about 13 to 17 years. Of course, you can expect to exceed these averages if you regularly maintain it and apply good driving habits. The Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. Believe it or not, these crossovers have been battling neck to neck for over 25 years. In the early 1990s, Toyota wanted to make a vehicle that combined light off-road capabilities of an SUV with the comforts of a standard passenger car. And so they did. In 1994, Toyota introduced the RAV4. You can see their vision reflected in the name, because RAV4 was an acronym for Recreational Activity Vehicle with Four-Wheel Drive, although later they changed it to Robust Accurate Vehicle Four-Wheel Drive. Anyway, it was the first and only compact crossover in the U.S. market. You could say that the RAV4 created a brand new genre and category in the car industry. The RAV4 first generation debuted in America in 1996 with a 2-liter, 120 horsepower inline-4 engine. The next year, 1997, they introduced the all-electric RAV4 with nickel-metal hydride batteries. Of course, being the first to market gave RAV4 a head start. Honda followed suit soon after by introducing the CR-V in 1997. The name CR-V stood for Compact Recreational Vehicle. Originally, it came in one trim level, known as CR-V LX, which included a hideaway picnic table. It had a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine that output 126 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque. So power output was comparable with the RAV4. Just a year later, CR-V surprised America by surpassing the RAV4 in sales, and it wasn't just by a stone's throw, but more like leaps and bounds. CR-V sales in 1998 was over 100,000 units, where the RAV4 sold only about 67,000 units that year. Toyota realized they needed to keep things fresh, so the second generation RAV4 came with more power under its hood, 148 horsepower and 142 pound-foot of torque. But it didn't help them gain much ground in sales. CR-V was still way ahead. In the meantime, the second generation CR-V got a full redesign. It was based on the 7th generation Honda Civic and powered by the K24A1 engine. The new CR-V retained the fuel economy of the previous model because of the iVTEC system. American versions of the new engine produced 160 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque. This prompted Toyota to make dramatic changes. For the 06 RAV4, Toyota introduced the RAV4 with a V6 engine, with a 3.5-liter unit with 269 horsepower. The U.S. version of the RAV4 also grew by 14 inches. That's more than a foot. RAV4 also came with a third-row seating. This made the crossover more practical for American audiences, and America loved these dramatic changes. In fact, RAV4 sales doubled from almost 71,000 units in 2005 to over 152,000 units in 2006, but it was still lagging behind CR-V in sales. In the meantime, Honda redesigned their CR-V. Starting with the 07 model year, the CR-V nixed the folding picnic table feature and manual transmission. This generation CR-V also saw softer, smoother lines with the new horizontal slat-type chrome grille and redesigned bumpers. Honda also moved the spare tire under the floor. Then, for the 4th generation, Honda upgraded the CR-V to output 185 horsepower. With the 2015 model year, Honda offered the CR-V with the CVT, continuously variable transmission, and improved suspension. This moved Toyota to re-strategize, and so Toyota went back to basics. They backtracked and reversed the features that didn't succeed in the previous generation. They dropped the V6 option from the RAV4. They nixed the third row. They shortened the car length by about 2 inches and height by 1 inch. Then they fattened the width a bit and deleted the signature gate-mounted spare tire feature and instead hid the tire under the floor. They replaced the single-hinged liftgate door with the traditional door that's hinged at the top. They also upgraded the 4-speed to a new 6-speed automatic. The RAV4 was less fun, but more practical now. 2015 was a significant year because RAV4 got a facelift and also saw a dramatic increase in safety ratings. RAV4 started gaining major ground in sales that year, and the growth trajectory continued after Toyota introduced the RAV4 Hybrid with the 2016 model. It shared the same gas-electric powertrain as a Lexus NX300H. It was more powerful than the standard RAV4. 2017 was a huge milestone milestone for the RAV4 because it made an incredible comeback in sales. The RAV4 outsold the CR-V for the first time in decades. This was the turning point in the Toyota-Honda race, and the RAV4 has held its ground ever since. You can see Honda's reaction in its fifth generation. The CR-V became more masculine than previous generations. It was bigger, had sharper lines, and looked more aggressive. It grew an inch taller, and its wheelbase was 1.6 inches longer, so more space and comfort for passengers. For the 2020 model year, Honda introduced the CR-V hybrid variant in America. Honda had already been selling it in Europe and China a year prior, but now Honda brought it to the US market. In the meantime, Toyota launched the RAV4 5th generation. It was boxier and more rugged. It sat on Toyota's new Global Architecture, TNGA, which improved the ride quality and handling. For the 2021 model year, Toyota unveiled the RAV4 Prime, a plug-in hybrid variant that can travel 42 miles on electricity alone. So for more than 2 decades, the RAV4 and CR-V have been neck to neck in power, look, and features. They have a lot more in common than differences. Today, they're still at it. The Toyota RAV4 is the 4th best-selling vehicle in America. Last year, they sold 430,000 units. Compare that to the Honda CR-V, which is the 5th best-selling car in America. They sold more than 330,000 units last year. If you're looking for a brand new crossover and want to compare these two 2021 models, here's a quick rundown. In terms of base price, both start at around $25,000 to $26,000, although the RAV4's price is slightly higher. If you're interested in reliability ratings, J.D. Power gave the RAV4 an average score, whereas a CR-V earned an above-average rating. Both cars offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile basic warranty and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. Both vehicles offer great fuel economy for its class, but the RAV4 has a slight edge here, although it's really a close call between these two. Let's talk about seats. Both crossovers have 5 passenger seats. The CR-V offers a bit more legroom for the back seat passengers. Both come standard with cloth upholstery, but you can upgrade the CR-V with real leather, whereas the RAV4 only offers synthetic leather. Both offer heated front seats, but the RAV4 can be upgraded with ventilated front seats and heated rear outboard seats. In terms of cargo space, both vehicles are above average for their class, so it's a lot here. That said, the CR-V offers a bit more cargo volume. If you want acceleration, the RAV4 has a leg up. It has a 2.5-liter inline-4 that outputs 203 horsepower. Compare that with CR-V's 1.5-liter turbo 4 with 190 horsepower. As far as the interior quality and style, both are practical and of good quality. But the CR-V looks more upscale because it uses soft material on most surfaces, while the RAV4 has some hard plastics. If you're looking to buy a used RAV4 or CR-V, which model years should you consider and which one should you avoid? As far as the Toyota RAV4 is concerned, the 2017 and 2018 model years are a good bet in general. Both models rated well for reliability, performance, comfort, and styling. There has been a few complaints about the 2018 model, like paint issues, minor steering issues, and brake problems. But in general, it's still a very good year. The least reliable RAV4, the model years 2001, 2002, 2007, and 2008. The 2008 model was the worst due to higher repair costs. The most common problem with the used RAV4 is excessive oil consumption at 100,000 miles. The average cost to address this was around $3,300. Another common issue was problem shift and eventual transmission failure around 112,000 miles. The average cost to address this was about $2,600. In fact, customer complaints led Toyota to change its powertrain warranty from 5 years, 60,000 miles to 10 years, 150,000 miles for both the transmission and ECM. If you're looking at used Honda CR-Vs, reliable model years include 2005, 2006, and 2016. Complaints about these models were quite minimal, and those years were reported to be reliable overall and provide good handling. Minor issues were only about the ride being a little stiffer than other model years. Some people complained about the noise level, but that seems to be across the board for CR-Vs in general. But all in all, these are reliable model years if you want to use CR-V. The least reliable CR-V models are between 2007 and 2011. Those received the most complaints, including tires wearing unevenly, door lock issue, and failing AC compressors because the shaft was too thin and it would snap off. In particular, the 2010 and 2011 models received complaints around oil consumption problems due to faulty piston rings. 2010 also saw recalls for problems around the airbag, electrical system, and transmission control modules. The Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V both have a reputation for reliability. It's no surprise why they're so popular. They're formidable competitors for good reason. But now, you tell me what you think about the Toyota RAV4 or the Honda CR-V. Which do you think is better? Comment below and share your opinion. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your support.